you guys love my Spice Girls t-shirt? It's very vintage. I'm such a 90s kid. Okay, so here are some fun facts about a Swedish girl who lives in California. Wait, let me move you guys a little bit. Is the lighting too weird? Should I sit like this? I have experienced 3 earthquakes since I moved here. They were all very small. 2 of them was mostly just like me being shook awake in the middle of the night. And the first time I was freaked out. I thought there was maybe like a murderer under my bed, which was ridiculous, but I was alone at the time. The family I was working for, they were out of town. The first one was kind of freaky because I was an au pair. I'd never experienced anything like that before. I mean, if you just want to compare numbers, in Sweden, the past 15 years, we've had a little over, I think it was like 7,300 earthquakes in 15 years. And we don't feel them, like, at all. But here in California, we get tens of thousands of earthquakes per year, which is crazy. So it would be weird if we didn't hear any, or we didn't feel any of them. So 2 of them were very minor. The second one I experienced was when I worked as a nanny. I was in the family's kitchen, and the baby, who was 3 months old, I took care of him. He was napping when all of a sudden I felt like the only way I can describe it is like a giant picked up the house and like moved it maybe like 10 feet to the side, and I just flew into the kitchen counter. Like, not bad, I didn't hurt myself or anything like that, and it was over so fast that I didn't even realize what happened. Like, it was so weird, but of course I understood that it must have been an earthquake. And so I checked on the baby. He was still asleep, and that was that. Reluctantly, Thanksgiving has become one of my favorite traditions. And I hate saying it because I used to be so against it, and I still am. I don't like where it came from. Obviously, it's got a really negative history. But you know what? I think now the tradition is just about being thankful and being surrounded by family and friends and eating really delicious food. So why not just change the tradition and make it something positive? With that said though, I'm very, very determined to always create like awareness in my mind and in people around me, like their minds, about the origin of Thanksgiving. I have made a promise to myself I'm always going to donate money to a Native American foundation or organization that's doing something really positive for Native Americans who are still suffering immensely. I'm gonna, if I have kids one day, I'm gonna raise them to do the same thing. We're gonna talk about it. We're not gonna just sit there and eat a delicious meal. We're gonna talk about the history of it. I think it's really important, and luckily Nick agrees with it. I got totally freaked out when I realized that cyclists ride their bikes on the road with the cars instead of on the sidewalks. In Sweden, you ride your bicycle on the sidewalk, and sometimes we even have like a line that separates the sidewalk into 2 parts where people can walk and people can ride their bikes, just to keep things safe. And I've never understood the reason why they think it's okay here for cyclists to ride on the same road as cars. But I've seen enough accidents. When I was an au pair, my host parents' friend had to recover at our house for a while, actually. He had a family, but it took a toll on them to take care of him for a long time because he was hit by a car really bad when he was out riding his bike. It was really bad. I mean, you're not protected very well from those. It's such a bad idea. I'm so terribly sorry to all you Americans out there who adore pumpkin flavored anything, because I don't like it. I'm sorry, I've just never gotten used to it. At the most, I'd like to eat like a pumpkin muffin once in a blue moon in the fall. Pumpkin pie, it's mushy, it's weird. Pumpkin in general just is mushy and smells odd. I mean, have you ever carved a pumpkin? It's disgusting. With that said, fall is my favorite season, so there's something about pumpkin everywhere that I love it. So if you like it, just keep drinking and eating it, and I'll just enjoy it from a distance. When I first moved here, people got all weird with me when I told them that I'm fine walking wherever I want to, as long as it's like 30 minutes or less from where I am. They couldn't believe that I didn't want to take the car. It was just like mind-boggling. And I'm like, well, yeah, it could take like 5 minutes with the car, but I'm like, I mean, it would take me maybe 20 minutes to walk, and why would I waste gas or just, I mean, I like to exercise. It's just how I was brought up in Sweden. That's just how we do things there. Like, everything is very close by. That's one thing Nick realized when he went there to visit my family, is that you're always no more than like 5 or 10 minutes away from like a playground, school, and a grocery store. But now I do take the car everywhere, so I can't really I'm so Americanized now, guys. My Swedish teaching degree that I am still paying my student loan off on, it's useless. It's useless here in America. I mean, not useless, but they basically want me to pay more money to get a certain amount of units so I can be a preschool teacher. I think I calculated that it would be like $3,000 to afford this. And then I looked into it and I realized that preschool teachers aren't even paid that much here. But as a nanny, I make more money, even though I don't, like, there's no educational degree to be a nanny. I don't know, it's just odd. I don't agree with it. I think that preschool teachers need to be more appreciated here as well as in Sweden, because we're very underpaid there as well. But that's always what I wanted to do, so I'm really bummed out. Like, that was my one career goal, was to be a preschool teacher. So I really missed that. I missed that environment. I never had peanut butter before I moved to America. This is not because we don't have peanut butter in Sweden, but it was always such a, I don't know, it just sounded weird to me. So when I came here as an au pair, I ended up at a children's birthday party with one of the kids who I took care of, and they served peanut butter jelly sandwiches. So I thought, you know what? I've seen them on sitcoms and American movies. I should just try it, and oh my god, I feel like I ate like half of those sandwiches. They were so good. Now, my final fact is this. I did not realize how big this country really is until I moved here. I obviously come from tiny little Sweden, which now I know is like the size of California. But I just remember this one time when I was talking to a friend who lived in New York. We never like met in real life. It was an online friend, and we were both fans of the band Crash Diet, which is a Swedish rock band, which I love. And he was a fan of them too, so we spoke about them. It turned out one day that they were gonna come to America. They were gonna come to California and actually play for the first time ever, which was a huge deal for them, and we were so happy for them. So I told my friend who lived in New York, oh my god, it's your turn, you get to see them live, like, good for you, like, you know, get a ticket, have fun. And he was like, oh no, I can't afford that. And I remember thinking he was kind of ridiculous. I thought, okay, I understand you don't have a lot of money, but come on, like, they're finally in your country. You've been like dying for this to happen for so many years. Like, take this chance, you know? Now that I live here, I get it. Like, it's expensive enough as it is to just live in this country, especially in California and New York. I mean, it takes hours and hours to fly from New York to California and then back again. It's not something that you just do. It's like traveling from, like, you know, like from Germany to Norway, or, you know, it's a bit of a trip and you need to actually plan for it. So I get it now, I get his perspective. And unfortunately, he never got to see Crash Diet live. One thing that I, as a European or Scandinavian, never quite realized is that America is so big that if you travel from one place to another, there's a time difference. Like, they're in different time zones. If I travel from California to Florida, I believe there's like a 3-hour time difference, which is so weird. So those were some fun facts about me. I hope you enjoyed it. It's been kind of a weird experience moving from one country to another, and maybe you have some experiences too. If you moved from one country to another, how was that? And was there anything that really stood out and was kind of weird to you that you didn't maybe agree with in the beginning, and maybe now you agree with it? Let me know in the comments down below, please. And have a nice day.